Back at you with another video coming at you from ChooseYourRelationships.com. Offer of Love Can't Wait, which can be found on Amazon.com. So this question comes from Apple Mac. Apple Mac in the house. He sent me a email, actually like two topics. I'm going to read one of them. He says, I sometimes think about why am I attracted to different races of women other than black women. Do I think I am brainwashed? Am I color struck? Is attraction something you can control? I see beauty in all races of women, but feel loyal to black women. I know why a lot of guys date other women and say to hell with black women because the ones they ran across were just crazy. I get it, but I understand why a lot of black women act so screwed up. Look at all the stuff they've been through. No race of women on earth had to go through all the crap that black women have. That's true. Knowing that I understand, but I am supposed to be their next victim. Hell nah. But for the long run, it would be nice to look at your mate and see a reflection of yourself in her. What's your thoughts on this, Sharp? Well, yeah, well, the reason why you're attracted to other groups of women, especially Caucasian women, I think that's who you were talking about, is because they're everywhere. Caucasian women are everywhere. On the television, at your job, at the store, if you're driving in your car, if you're walking, running, working out, they're everywhere. And it depends on how much you've been exposed growing up as a kid, what you saw as a kid, what kind of examples did you have as a kid. If you had bad examples as a kid, if your mom was a bad example for you, it's almost natural for you to gravitate towards other groups of women if you had bad examples from your mother growing up, or your grandmother growing up, or your sisters growing up. It's quite natural if you had bad examples. Now, if you had good examples like me, see, I understand. I understand how, this is psychology 101, man, really. But I would say, I know some black people grew up in an all-white neighborhood. They were like the only family in that neighborhood. And if that's the case, if you're playing with Caucasian people all the time as a kid, it's quite natural that you're going to warm up to the little white girls after a while. If you grew up in an all-white neighborhood and y'all the only family, that's a natural thing. And the older you get, high school, you're going to go to the prom, more than likely it's going to be a white girl. When you grow up, you might want to be with black women, and you might do, but you're still always going to be open to dating white women, and that's understandable if you grew up in an all-white neighborhood and y'all the only family. I give you an example. I have a cousin, younger cousin. He's 20, I want to say he's 22. He lives in Seattle. Now, if you know anything about Seattle, it's not a lot of black people in Seattle. It's just not. And he's born and raised there. Of course, his dad is my cousin. We're from South Carolina, Georgetown, South Carolina. And he's been raised in Seattle. And he ain't never been with a black woman. Not saying that he don't want to be with one. He's just never been exposed to a lot of black people until he comes down to South Carolina around us. But in Seattle, it's just never happened. You know what I'm saying? And of course he's gonna be gravitate towards white women because his mom is white. So it's quite natural. You have to understand what your brain sees long enough. If you stay in front of whatever you want long enough, and for this example, it would be a woman. If you stay in whatever is around you long enough, consistently, that's what you're going to end up liking after a while. That's just a natural human behavior. That's all it is. You just can't control it. Now, there's one thing you can control. Once you become an adult, you can say, I'm going to go in that neck of the woods. I'm going to move. You can control that. You can control that. Now, if you're a kid, you ain't got no control over that. Your parents raised you. So you can't control that. But as an adult, see, once you become aware of how things work, then you can kind of like set boundaries about how you want to live your life, about what type of women you want to attract, what type of women you want to expose yourself around and be around. So that's what that's about, really. I mean, if you put one guy in the room with two or three women, for a long period of time, weeks, months, at least one of those women are going to gravitate towards that guy. It's just a natural thing. And it ain't got nothing to do with no skin color. It ain't got nothing to do with no religion. Human nature supersedes religion, culture, nationality, race, you're black, you're white, all the stereotypes. Human nature supersedes all that. Human nature was here before religion and all these other titles. So it's just, it is what it is. Really. You know, it is what it is. Now, some people, if you try having a conversation with people about what I just said, they'll try to downplay it or act like they have so much control over their decisions that they make, which they don't. You know, a lot of people don't know who they are. I'm convinced of that. A lot of people don't know who they are. They don't know who they are, and they don't really know what they're capable of. And I'm convinced they don't. They just say whatever sounds good. You know. This is why why do you think a lot of white women are so attracted to black males? It's not just because of the sex. It's not. It's much deeper than that. Now, people want to make it seem like that it's all about sexuality when it comes to white women being attracted to black males. It's much deeper than that. I'm not gonna get into that in this video. That's a video for another day. But it's much deeper than that. And you went on to say that you understand why a lot of brothers date other groups of women. Yeah, because a lot of them, had a couple bad eggs, ran into a couple bad apples, and a lot of these guys are weak too. A lot of these guys that, some guys had bad relationships with their mom growing up, and some guys were raised by single parents. And then you had some guys that had both parents in the household, or the dad was around, but the parents just weren't worth a damn. That's all it is sometimes. It ain't just single women messing these kids up. There's people that's married, the parents just ain't worth a damn. You know what I'm saying? I know there's a kind of like a stereotype where it's like people will say the single parents screw the kids up. No, you got people that's married, they screw the kids up too. So, it ain't just single parents doing a bad job. Some of these parents are just bad people. Really, man. And then they're raising weak kids. So a lot of these guys that use the excuse to talk to other groups of women because they had a bad experience with black women, they was gonna do it anyway. That was just an excuse. Women do the same thing. A lot of black women do the same thing. They was gonna do it anyway. They was gonna do it anyway. It's like a lot of lesbians will say the same thing. Well, I'm tired of men. I had a bad experience. They was gonna do it anyway. That's just an excuse. Because if you wanted to do it, just go and do it. But don't try to use an excuse to justify why you did what you did. That's all I'm saying. Do what you want to do, but don't try to justify and make it seem like the guys were so bad. Come on, get out of here, man. I don't believe that crap. Listen, last I checked, it's over 7 billion people on the planet. And if you're a woman and you can't find one guy that's willing to rock with you, it's you. You're the problem. Same as if you're a guy. If you're a guy and you can't find one woman to rock out with you, at some point in time, you're the problem. But I don't buy into that crap. People justify why they had to date out, why they had to date the same sex. That's lame. That's really lame and weak. A weak mindset. So I don't get into that. I learned a long time ago not to fall for that crap. Fall for the okie doke. And he went on to say that I understand why a lot of black women, and that attitude thing, I don't really buy into that attitude. A lot of women are crazy. There are different levels of craziness. And a lot of black women, let's just be honest, they have a good reason to be crazy. Because all the stuff that a lot of them went through and still going through. But a lot of these other women, what's their excuse? A lot of these other groups of women, they haven't really been through much. They haven't been through much. And the little bit that they have been through, it ain't no comparison. Their families didn't get ripped apart. So what's their excuse? With these other groups of women, when you meet a crazy woman from any of these other groups, what's her excuse? What is it? 9 times out of 10, she screwed up. Or her dad screwed up. But her grandfather more than likely laid the framework, put in the groundwork. Somebody above her screwed up. That's only one generation. Bro, you got like 3, 4, 5, 8 generations screwed up. Like for me, for example, on my dad's side of the family, I never met my grandparents. I never met them. I didn't even know how they look. You know what I'm saying? I never met my grandparents on my dad's side. That's crazy. I don't know anything about my great-grandparents on my dad's side. I know about them on my mom's side, but my mom was adopted. My grandmother was adopted, and she was Native American to this land that we live on today. But somehow, she didn't tell the whole story. But somehow they were reclassified and the land was taken. It was a split in the tribe. And English wasn't her first language. And I knew English wasn't her first language because she couldn't speak worth a damn when I was young. I'm like, what kind of English you talking? It's all broken. Because I knew something wasn't right. Until I got older and started asking questions, and that's when I got the true story. The other race on earth, what the hell? Knowing that I understand, but I am supposed to be the next victim. Nah, you don't gotta be the next victim. You can, I understand, but I ain't gonna be nobody's victim. But I'm talking like, black women are the realists. You have to understand. It's not that. A lot of the stuff that a lot of black women say, that's just talk. If you meet them in person, shut that down. And I've done this time after time after time. I've actually talked to women over the telephone, do video, whatever. And I say, hey, let's forget about it. Let's just meet in person. When we met in person, all that tough talk, that was thrown out the window. So I don't even, that's like a smoke screen. Kind of like a filter. That's all it is, man. If you're the truth, if you're the real deal, if you're strong, not weak, don't throw that out the window. Let me tell you something. Women know, even the most craziest women know. They know who's who. They know what type of guy you are within a couple of minutes. Sometime within seconds. So all that tough talk a lot of these women say online, I don't even pay no mind. They're not going to do nothing. What they going to do? It's just talk. She can't whip you. Well, so what are you worried about? What's up? A lot of stuff that a lot of women say, a lot of guys get caught up. What's she going to do with you? She can't whip you. I hope you're not going to let a woman beat you up. You know, she might hit you, but she can't whip you. She can't force you to do nothing. I mean, she might, the thing a woman can do is call a cop on you or call somebody else for backup and lie on you or whatever. That's the most she can do. Really. Everything a woman has, she got directly or indirectly through a man. By a man. Women don't create public policy, last I checked. So stuff women say, I don't pay no mind. They ain't gonna stop me from doing what I'm gonna do, regardless. So he said, it would be nice. So in the long run, it would be nice to look at your mate and see the reflection of yourself in her. What's your thoughts on? Yeah. I mean, I'd go for black women first. I always look for black women first. That's just me. You know, these other groups of women, they alright, man. Some of them attractive. Okay, yeah. They don't last long. That's the thing. They don't last long. They don't age well. Most of these other groups of women. That's just reality. That's not my opinion. You just look at them. Look at these other groups of women. Take a look around. Travel. Go out there and meet these other groups. Look what happened to these women when they hit 30s and late 30s and 40s. Man, they fall apart, man. Hit a wall. They get sick faster than the average black woman today. I mean, the average black woman today gets sick fast too. If you compare it to my sisters and my mom and my aunts. They're not sick. My aunts is in the 60s. They're not sick. My mom died, she was 83. She died, a year and a half ago. My grandmother lived to be 102, and she wasn't sick. She just had a stroke and died. But she wasn't on no medication, wasn't on no pills. Same with my mom. These women today can't even make it to 40. Now, it's not all black women, but a lot of them are getting sick. It's not the way it used to be. But look at these other groups of women. Bro, they're worse. They're getting cancer and diabetes and high blood pressure. And then them, they just don't have a lot of these women don't have no pigment in their skin, not much melanin in their skin. So a lot of them smoke and drink a lot, and it's really hard on them because the lighter the skin, and if you don't take care of yourself, you really age faster than usual. So a lot of black women and a lot of the darker shade of women can kind of get away with it for a while. I mean, if you look at them, a lot of them might not be taking care of themselves as much as they used to, or as well as they used to, I would say. But they still look good. But they still might be sick. But these other groups of women, they can't hide it. You know, if they sick, more than likely you gonna know they sick. They're just gonna fall off. You're like, God damn. They start looking like a rag doll, like Chucky. And it's not all of them, but it's a majority. If you take a look at these women that's from places like Korea, Japan, China, a 40-year-old woman, a late 30s, 40-year-old, 50-year-old woman from China, Japan, Korea. My God. She ain't looking the way she was in the 20s. I tell you that much. Shit. I know a lot of guys that got married to a lot of these women. In late 30s, them guys can't even rise to the occasion no more. They're dying to go back to a black woman. So, hey man, I'm just saying, man. I said this before, black women are the realest. If a black woman don't like you, you're not going to have to figure it out. It's going to be so plain as day if she's interested in you or not. Really. These other groups of women, man, they might be running game on you. You might thinking she's head over heels for you. She's not. She might be planning to leave you. And when she leaves, you're never going to see it coming, in most cases. And a lot of times, you never really know what they're thinking, these other groups of women. The Asians and the Caucasians. You never know what they're thinking most of the time. You have to figure it out. No, see black women, other melanated women, you don't necessarily gotta. You gonna know. If you got just a little bit of common sense, you gonna know. Because they not good at faking it. You know? So, hey, man. I'm just saying, man. But, hey. We tend to want what we see the most. And what we've been exposed to. Growing up. Even into our adulthood. That's how it is, man. So, hey, if you like this video, subscribe to my channel, share this video, and tell me what's been your experience. How did you grow up? Did you grow up in an all-white neighborhood or all-black neighborhood or mixed neighborhood or did you grow up in the country like I did? See, I grew up in the country. I didn't grow up, we ain't had no neighbors. You know, I grew up in the country, small town. So, you know, the black people were down the street and the white people were like across the river. That's been my experience. So tell me your experience. So until next time, I'm out. Peace.